If you're cruising from the Port of Miami, there's something you need to know before embarkation day. Traffic getting into the Port of Miami can be an absolute nightmare.
When we sailed on Celebrity Beyond, we left our hotel around 10 in the morning thinking we were arriving early.
But as soon as we reached the main bridge into the port, traffic completely stopped.
What should have been a quick drive turned into a long, slow crawl through the port with cars backed up everywhere.
And the crazy part, a week later when we left our ship and passed the port again, the traffic was still gridlocked.
So in this video, we're going to show you exactly what happened, why the Port of Miami gets so congested on cruise days, and stay to the end because we'll share 6 tips that might save you a lot of stress and save your embarkation day at the Port of Miami.
Let's get started. So here's the situation. We were sailing on Celebrity Beyond and purposely left our hotel around 10 that morning.
Our plan was to get to the port early, get some video of the port area, and then board the ship.
But when we reached the main bridge into the Port of Miami, traffic came to a standstill. The bridge is essentially the main gateway to the port, and when multiple cruise ships are embarking and disembarking passengers at the same time, thousands of vehicles are all trying to use that same route. What should have been a quick drive suddenly turned into a long, slow crawl as traffic was completely gridlocked.
And once we finally made it across the bridge, things didn't get much better. Traffic stayed backed up all the way through the port.
Once we got into the port area, things actually got even more confusing. Port officials had closed several regular access points and rerouted traffic through multiple zipper merges. Instead of going straight to the cruise terminals, cars were being forced to drive much of the length of the port first.
Then vehicles had to double back again to reach the right cruise terminal.
At one point, it honestly felt like if we could have safely gotten out near the bridge, we could have walked to the terminal in about 5 minutes.
But, of course, that's not allowed, and it wouldn't have really been safe anyway.
Another thing our driver pointed out was that the tunnel into the port was closed to incoming traffic that morning.
Apparently, that happens often on heavy cruise days, although we never really figured out exactly why.
So instead of having multiple routes to the port, everyone was being funneled onto the bridge.
And when thousands of passengers are arriving at the same time, that can cause traffic to back up very quickly.
One of the most surprising things was that while we were still trying to get in, we could see long lines of people trying to get out of the port area.
There were huge lines of passengers waiting for taxis, Ubers, and shuttles.
Some people had apparently already been waiting a very long time, and members of our travel party who left the hotel about an hour after us said it was even worse for them. They were in an Uber for about 2.5 hours getting into the port.
And they told us there were still people waiting to leave the port area well into the afternoon. That really showed us just how overwhelmed the port traffic system was that day.
And the bigger issue is that this kind of delay can actually cause people to miss their cruise.
In fact, a colleague of mine who is a travel agent that sailed out of the Port of Miami 2 weeks after us said that more than 100 passengers on her cruise were delayed by traffic getting into the port and the ship left without them.
Port of Miami is one of the busiest cruise ports in the world, and on turnaround days, there can be multiple huge ships embarking and disembarking passengers at the same time. That means thousands of people arriving, thousands of people leaving, and a lot of vehicles trying to use the same roads all at once.
Add in the rerouting, lane merges, security, and terminal-specific traffic patterns, things can get out of control very quickly.
The interesting thing is that once we finally reached the cruise terminal, everything moved incredibly fast. As soon as we dropped our bags with the porters, the rest of the process was smooth. Security was quick, check-in was fast. Before we knew it, we were taking our embarkation photos and heading up the escalator.
Then we walked across the gangway, and just like that, we were on board Celebrity Beyond.
In fact, from dropping our bags to stepping on the ship, it was probably one of the fastest embarkations we've ever had.
So the issue really wasn't with the cruise line or the terminal operations.
The challenge was simply getting through the traffic congestion outside the port.
If you're finding this video helpful, do us a quick favor and give it a like. It really helps other cruisers find these tips when they're planning their trips.
And if you've cruised from the Port of Miami before, drop a comment below and let us know what your experience was like getting into the port.
Was it smooth for you, or did you run into traffic like we did?
And if you enjoy cruise tips, port guides, and cruise ship tours, make sure to subscribe to Dockside Travel. We share new cruise travel videos every week. So, a week later after we were finishing our cruise on Celebrity Beyond, we needed to get to Fort Lauderdale for our next sailing on Celebrity Silhouette.
After seeing the traffic situation on embarkation day, we knew we needed a good plan to get out of that port quickly.
So while we were still on board Beyond, we started thinking about our exit strategy.
First, we chose self-assist disembarkation so we could carry our own luggage off the ship.
That's usually the fastest way to leave a cruise ship because you don't have to wait for luggage collection.
Second, we decided to take a taxi instead of calling an Uber. Our thinking was that taxis are already staged inside the taxi lots in the port, while an Uber might have to fight its way into the port through that traffic.
Because we got off early and our terminal was close to the exit, our plan worked. From walking off the ship to getting a cab to arriving at the Brightline station, it was less than 20 minutes.
We used the Brightline train to go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale for our back-to-back cruises, and we'll have more on that in another video.
Our Brightline train left Miami around 8:45 that morning.
And as we passed the Port of Miami just before 9, we could already see traffic heading into the port backing up again.
So even though we beat the traffic getting out, it was obvious that the same problem was building again for the next round of cruisers trying to get to their ships.
Which tells you that this isn't just a one-time issue. This looks like a recurring problem on major turnaround days.
After seeing how chaotic traffic can get around the Port of Miami, it really got us thinking about what cruisers can realistically do to avoid problems like this.
Because we recently heard about a cruise where more than 100 passengers were delayed by traffic in Miami and the ship actually left without them.
And unfortunately, cruise ships run on strict schedules. If you're not on board by the final boarding time, they can and will leave without you.
So here are a few things we learned from our experience.
The single best piece of advice we can give is simple. Leave much earlier than you think you need to.
When we left our hotel at 10 in the morning, we thought we were arriving early.
But traffic at the port bridge still turned our drive into about an hour and a half.
And people in our travel group who left only about an hour later ended up sitting in traffic for over 2.5 hours.
In other words, the difference between leaving early and leaving a little later can really make a huge difference.
If you do leave early, you may end up arriving before the terminal doors even open.
But honestly, that's a much better problem to have than sitting in traffic wondering if you're going to miss your ship. Be prepared to wait outside the terminal if you arrive early. And if you're cruising in Miami's heat, that means bringing some water, sunscreen, and being ready for the weather.
It really can be a case of hurry up and wait.
But that's a lot better than missing embarkation day altogether.
Another thing to keep in mind is that taxi drivers can get stuck in traffic for a very long time.
And if a driver's sitting in gridlock for 2 hours, that can affect pricing and availability.
In our case, we paid the standard Uber fare but then tipped our driver the same amount again because of the delay.
Another option is negotiating a flat rate ahead of time so you know exactly what the cost will be.
Just remember that drivers are losing time and other fares if they're stuck in traffic that long.
This advice is especially important if you're driving to the port yourself and parking there.
The traffic inside the port can be confusing, especially if you're not familiar with the layout.
With all the rerouted lanes and zipper merges, there isn't a lot of room for error if you make a wrong turn.
So, if we were driving ourselves, we'd probably arrive at the port at the crack of dawn.
Park the car, relax, and wait until it's time to head over to the terminal.
You might even want to bring your morning coffee and breakfast and enjoy it in the parking garage while you wait.
It might sound funny, but that's a lot better than sitting in traffic wondering if you're gonna miss the ship.
Normally, we prefer arranging our own transportation, but this is one situation where cruise line airport transfers may be worth considering.
If you're using a cruise line transfer, ask the cruise line directly if they'll guarantee getting you to the ship on time, and get that confirmation in writing if possible.
Don't assume the ship will wait just because you're on their shuttle. We saw plenty of vans and buses backed up in traffic with us. But if they do guarantee it, that could give you some peace of mind on those heavy traffic days.
Finally, another helpful tip is to check how many ships are scheduled to be in Miami on your embarkation day. Websites like Cruise Mapper show exactly how many ships will be in port. If there are 6 or 7 ships embarking passengers on the same day, well, you can expect traffic to be much heavier.
Knowing that ahead of time helps you plan when to leave for the port.
Miami is still one of the most exciting cruise ports in the world. The reality is traffic in Miami isn't always bad.
But when it's bad, it can be really bad.
After what we saw, we're really glad we left early. Our 1.5 hour delay was frustrating,
but it was a lot better than the 2.5 hours some of our friends experienced.
And a lot better than missing the ship entirely.
Knowing what traffic can be like ahead of time can make embarkation day a lot less stressful, and hopefully some of our tips can help you the next time you cruise out of Miami.
We're curious though, if you've cruised from the Port of Miami recently, what was your experience like?
Did you run into the same traffic issues we saw, or has the port finally figured it out?
Let us know in the comments. And in our next video, we're going to show you the transportation option we use to travel between Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
It's called Brightline, and it turned out to be a fantastic way to move between cruise ports in Florida.
So if you're cruising in South Florida, you definitely want to check that one out.
Thanks for watching.